We have some of those students, they spend 4 years, 5 years preparing for UPSC. They give their life to it.
Indian Republic's most outstanding example of commitment to objectivity.
A lot of people say that our bureaucracy is so slow.
There was a whole period when I was in Government of India, 2011 to 2014. The Government of India suffers from policy paralysis. Basics of IAS are to write your objective opinion and not be influenced by anybody. Once the decision is implemented, faithfully implemented.
You went to IIT, thereafter IPS, then IAS, then various different secretarial positions in the government. Then you were also in the finance ministry in the center. Then you served at the World Bank. And then you were called back to Haryana to serve as the chief principal secretary.
Do you know the formula for success? Can I quote Faiz? वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो काम से आशिकी करते थे या इश्क को काम समझते थे. हम जीते जी मसरूफ रहे, कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया. काम इश्क के आड़े आता रहा और इश्क से काम बिगड़ता रहा. आखिर तंग आकर हमने दोनों को अधूरा छोड़ दिया. So I like to tell them, don't leave it adhura.
How do you look at Gurgaon as a case study? Are you happy where Gurgaon is at today?
Oh, certainly. This is a city which has a glorious past. It is associated with the Mahabharata era.
Gurgaon?
Oh, Guru Dronacharya's village.
It makes sense for Masters Union to be here then.
Yeah, you can spin it. About 564 acres of land, and it was getting encroached.
Does it happen that when a new government comes, just out of spite, they undo the good work that the previous government has done?
Well,
bipolar world of China and US. Are we almost irrelevant? What is India's role in this new world order?
I don't think India can be ignored at any world forum.
And we always look at the government, and sorry to use this word, as an externality. We never look at government as a partner.
Government is like a banyan tree, you never know. They will be always conscious that you're going to make money. But if you can go to the right person and show them
what is in it for them.
Trust me, we meet very many people like that.
All right, how's everybody doing today? We have Mr. Rajesh Khullar, sir. I'm a little bit nervous. For the first time, I have done 160 podcasts, sir, but never more have I been scared.
Why?
This generally, sir, you're almost a father figure.
Does anything about me look scary to you?
That I got your name wrong. When have I done that before?
Yes.
No, sir, but thank you so much for giving us this time. And everybody has done research on you. Everybody knows who you are. That was their assignment before coming.
Now you are taking the revenge. Making me nervous.
No, sir, but how do I even introduce you? It's such an interesting story that you've lived, right? You went to IIT, you did your MTech from IIT, thereafter IPS, then IAS, then various different secretarial positions in the government. Then you were also in the finance ministry in the center. Then you served at the World Bank in a very senior role. And then you were called back to Haryana to serve as the chief principal secretary. So many different roles. What an illustrious career. But I want to start right at the beginning. Let's go back. By the way, one interesting thing is that you're 10 days older than my dad.
Okay.
It's 31st August, right?
Okay.
My dad is 10th September.
Okay.
1963.
Lovely.
So as I said, father figure. But I want to start right at the beginning. You were a technocrat, essentially. You did your undergrad in physics, if I'm not wrong. And then you did Masters again in engineering from IIT.
I was doing my MTech in optoelectronics and communications from IIT Delhi. When I cracked this.
Right, so you could have gone to Google or Facebook or I don't know, whatever companies existed at that time, IBM, Why did you choose to sit for IPS-IAS, for civil services?
You want me to come straight to the point, but first about your compliment.
Okay.
Tell me, who is not living an interesting life? Everyone does. Life is so interesting. Yeah. But then, yes, we all live it our own unique way. To your point, can I be brutally honest?
Absolutely.
Okay. You may not believe it. I heard the word Indian Administrative Service, IAS, first time in my life in 1974.
That's when you were 11 years old?
Yes, I was 11 and a half. And when I was passing out of 8th, I'd gone to get my school leaving certificate to be able to go to high school, another high school. And so after I had it in my hands, I thought I'll last time, pay my gratitude to the principal of the school, Sudarshan sir. His name was Mr. Sudarshan. Always called him Sudarshan sir. Went to his room, touched his feet. The room was full of people, parents, students. And he stands up, he hugs me, and then he places his hand on my head and says, and tells everybody publicly, he says, mark my words, look at this kid. One day he will be in the Indian Administrative Service. He will be an IAS.
At 11.
This is the first time I'd heard the phrase. 11 and maybe 6
What was it about you that made him say that?
I don't really know. But for me at that point, I knew nothing about civil administration or state administration or the central. All I knew was the Indian Army. I mean, I knew the entire hierarchy from an army man to the top. Probably a few months later, I was in grade 9 now, emergency was imposed. Right?
77.
75.
75. 77 was lifted, huh?
Yeah. June 25th. And now I was growing up, everything changed around me and around everybody. If you ever looked at the newspaper, sometimes, the entire caption of a 8-column story was missing, blackened out.
Oh, literally?
Yeah.
Oh.
The caption. Sometimes, whole columns were blackened out. Sometimes pictures were blackened out. You're reading something and some word is just black.
Retracted, huh?
Yeah. So we figured this is called censorship. There was oppression. There were murmurs and whispers. You would hear about forcible vasectomies. You were advised by your peers, senior peers, that watch out. If you see a policeman, run away because they might catch you and then, something bad can happen. Stuff of that kind. Now, there was a fantastic science teacher, Satish Sood, in my school. One day, his period used to be the second period of the school day. The bell rings. He walks in. We all stand up to greet him, as usual. And I looked at him and I froze. He had slightly longish hair. And now what am I seeing? One half, the right half of his head is completely shaved off. And the left here, they're all there.
Okay.
I froze. He walks up to the blackboard in his usual style, picks up a chalk, but I think he senses that from amongst the backbenchers, there is some giggling,
laughter,
some whispering. He comes up, he stands erect and says, I'll tell you what happened to me. Don't think about it. He said, I was on my way to the school on my bicycle. Police had set up a naka. There was a queue of youngsters. They had a couple of barbers with them. And all the ones who had long hair, they were cutting them, or they were trimming them, inculcating the key words of the culture that, in that emergency period were discipline, punctuality. There were jokes, how trains, began to run on time. And he says, he jumped ahead of the queue, went to the cop in charge and told him, look, I'm not a loafer. I'm a respectable teacher. I have to go to my school. He says, this guy felt so offended with the argument that he said, okay, I'll give you a different treatment. And he got his head one side shaved off. He went ahead to say that instead of riding the bicycle, he was crestfallen. He walked hand in hand with the bicycle up to the school. This was my first real glimpse into the civil power and how it can so casually be used to humiliate people, how insensitive, how brutal it could be. And that's not enough. One thing more that struck me at that age was that you could, the dignified response to this abuse of power, to resist it and to almost publicly shame the disuse, to walk away silently. That also touched me. And I would say that is the precise moment when this idea of public service, not as an authority, but as a responsibility, took roots in me.
So after school, then college happened in Chandigarh. Then masters happened in Delhi.
No, the college was again, the undergrad was in Ambala. 4 years. And then 2 years masters in...
IIT Delhi.
No, Punjab University, Chandigarh, MSc, Honours School, Physics.
Got it.
And then, but the trouble with the IAS is that on a certain date, you need to be minimum 21 years of age to write the exam. So you had to cut time. And at 19 and a half, I had the master's degree with me.
So exactly. Let's digest that.
Just add those 4 years to that. At 13 and a half, I had the high school degree with me and the certificate, diploma.
So you were 3 years ahead.
Yeah. There were hangs another tail, but anyway.
All right.
Those days, the rules of boards and universities that you should be certain minimum age were not there.
So you could. Interesting. Okay, so you essentially were just waiting to turn 21 and passing time in college, waiting to take the IAS test. So what I read online was that you cracked IPS in the first go. And then you joined the training as well, but then you reattempted the second year. What is that story? Were you not happy with the IPS?
No, factually, I had to write the civil services 3 times. First time I made it to the Indian Railways. Second time to the IPS. Third time, finally in the IAS.
So why did you not stick with the railways?
Well, I had grown up by now. Let's see. Do you know the formula for success in any field of life? What is success made of? What variables go into making somebody a successful whatever podcaster?
Hard work, luck,
and
intelligence.
Okay, very good. You know your game. So let's say hard work, and then talent, skill, intelligence, whatever, because sometimes some jobs don't require great intelligence, they require some skill, some talent. Let's put them all in one box. So hard work, let's say, call it effort, and then your skill, and third you name luck. No matter what the walk of life, if you want to write it as an algebraic equation, success would look like, coefficients. So alpha times hard work plus beta times
some weightages.
This and plus gamma times luck. In my 3 attempts in the IAS, I can tell you, I had physics and maths as optionals. I had put in the same hard work, the same talent, each 3 times, and the coefficients, of course, had not changed. Coefficients remain the same for the walk of life and the person concerned. It's just that the 3rd time I just got Lady Luck smiled more. So that's how.
But why even try again? Why not just if the government's given you railways?
Sudarshan sir,
Okay.
civil administration.
So that bug had bitten you at that time.
Yeah, so that was the Guru Dakshina I needed to pay. So
Understood. And then, one question I've been meaning to ask you, and we discussed this over a call last week, is, a lot of people who I meet who have been incredibly successful have this artistic side to them. Somehow, following one's artist-driven passions or art-driven passions somehow creates more imaginative individuals, somehow creates more space for you to experiment in life. I don't know what it is. The research says that successful people do have an artistic side, right? And I was very fortunate to hear one of your poems. And the way you performed it, I wish I could show it to everybody here. It was incredible. And I couldn't put 2 and 2 together that he's the same person who is the chief principal secretary of Haryana. At the same time, he's also this poet who's reciting this poem that he's written himself, and passionately so. Right? And I've seen that with some of my colleagues as well, right? They have this side. Do you think there's a correlation?
see, Pratham, are you really serious about your question? I mean, do we need any research to show that? We as human beings, life, our births are the highest order creative expressions of the universe. Isn't it? Life is created. Even if you're able to do it in a test tube, your ingredients are produced by nature. Right? Creativity is life. Why say administration? Any walk of life, any act, if done creatively, lovingly, and completely with total presence, that gives you the taste of life.
No, when you put it this way, I fully agree with you. And my question does sound stupid when you put it that way. But at the same time, I think being a little bit more specific with my question, what I'm trying to understand is, as we grow up, we let go of our creative side, right? As in pursuit of money, in pursuit of whatever work you're doing. Like, for example, I used to swim. I used to play badminton. I was super passionate about it, right? I used to play the guitar. And for the last 5 years, as I've gotten busy with work, I've completely left those things behind, right? And I think back in the day, me playing the guitar for half an hour used to add to my creativity, and I could work better, in fact, right? And now I forget that, that feeling that I used to get after playing the guitar. 2 hours I could work better. And so that's what I'm trying to get at. How have you maintained to give time over a period of time to your creative side? That even at this moment where you're so busy, and I've seen people lining outside of your office to meet you, and like files of like these heaps coming into your office, how do you still find the time to read 4 books, as you just showed me, at one time? And then also, write poetry and perform poetry with such flair. I mean, I couldn't do it. How have you managed to?
Well, the short answer is the one I gave in the only podcast before this one that I have done to Richa Anirudh. This is the biggest equalizer in life. The time given to each one of us. 24 hours every day. Not a second less, not a second more. So everybody has 24 hours. And what you make of it is your choice. However, to your point, you answered it brilliantly. You answered the question that you were asking me yourself. See, when you are in a flow and in a creative moment and in a creative act, actually you get the energy from the universe. You are alive only in those moments. The rest of the day, all other activities, they are draining you. Right? Creative work energizes you.
Sorry, one second.
You could tell them that if it is urgent.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that tells you how busy much.
Point made.
Even whoever was carrying the phone is bright enough to know this is worth disturbing. Okay.
Understood. So
this was most brilliantly answered. By the way, we can go on. I do not know how much time you have. The most brilliant answer I've read to this is from the life of the most celebrated US president, Abraham Lincoln. I'm sure there's nobody in this room who has... थोड़ी देर wait हो सकती है क्या? पूछ लो. I'm sorry.
No, this is... My point is made. I'm happy.
Let me go and take the
Absolutely, sir. No problem. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, not at all.
Like my teacher Satish Sood, I must answer the call. Hello.
I think it's worth stopping. I've done Nitin Gadkari, I've done Vice President of India, I've done Rohit Sharma, no problem. This one I'm getting so nervous. Like I said his name wrong. No, I know myself. I'm sweating for the first time. It's never happened before. So he's actually a father figure to me, and so it becomes harder then, right? Like I have to make sure I do everything right.
Oh, you are a mind reader? What? I was just telling your voice, give me a hot coffee.
Great minds.
Fools never differ.
Or that.
Okay.
No, I think we'll...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, Abraham Lincoln.
Correct.
I mean, that's where eventually the buck stops, right? At least in the US.
Like Gandhi here, it's Lincoln there.
Yeah. So, you're talking about you're playing guitar and I doing administration or whatever. So, Lincoln came from a very poor background, okay? And he becomes a president. So, in the Senate, he has a massive political opponent who takes the floor and says something to the effect that, Mr. President, your father used to make my shoes. Lincoln was the son of a cobbler, a shoemaker. Your father used to make my shoes. Always remember that. No, it was said with a lot of contempt. He said, Mr. Senator, if I'm proud of one thing, it is this, that my father, the way he made shoes, was the most creative work being done that I have seen with my eyes. He made wonderful shoes. So much so that without he ever saying, I learned only by looking how to mend shoes and how to make shoes. So if any of his shoes is pinching you, I can mend it. I'll come to your home. Let me know. And let me promise that as president, I'll do my work with the same devotion and dedication with which he used to do that. So any walk of life, immaterial, It has to be done lovingly, totally.
Yeah, I think, if there is that creative side that you're practicing through guitar or through poetry, I think what happens is that your mind remains activated. I think the synapses, the neurons work in that fashion,
Yeah.
even in your other life,
Yeah.
your work life.
Yeah.
Do you think that may be the case?
Yeah, if you're going to take a neurological view of things, yeah,
Possibly.
some more connections that flow. Then there is this whole associated business of, which neurotransmitters, how much adrenaline, how much dopamine, how much
Correct.
this, that. Yeah.
After I go for a swim, my body's so tired, but my brain is super activated.
Yeah.
And I never know whether to sleep or whether to work after swimming. It's always
Gives you a dopamine high, most likely.
in so many years as a bureaucrat. What are some of the other highlights that you can remember? What are some other memories that you have from early times?
Too many stories I can tell. I turned so lucky that I was less than 6 years of service. I was ADC Panipat. I was very perturbed by the amniocentesis, this female feticide business.
Yeah.
This testing, which is now illegal under the PNDT Act. You can't get the sex of the fetus checked. But those days, there was no such law.
And Haryana.
And female sex...
Haryana was probably the worst sex ratio.
Yeah, sex ratio at birth was declining. Those are the days. I'm talking about 88 by... So this is 1994. And one day, an idea gets hold of me that what can I do about it? It would involve some money, loads of money. Can you believe? I just went, I was those days ADC, I just shifted from ADC Panipat to ADC Gurgaon. Yeah. So the idea, and within a month or month and a half, the idea struck me during a conference of DRDA, District Rural Development Agency project directors. Satya Nadella, his father, Mr. B.N. Uganda, he was an IAS officer.
Really?
He was the director of the Mussoorie Academy and was very fond of some probationers, including me. He was a mover of men. He could, make dead wood come alive. So inspiring. And, he happened to say something in that conference that I have another 25,000. He was Secretary Rural Development those days. I have 25,000 rupees on the tip of my pen. I can get the budget for IRDP TRISEM enhanced by 25,000 crores for the next year budget. I have the finance minister's word on it. But I shudder. If only I had the confidence in you young boys and girls. And this hit me. I said, oh my goodness, this guy has 25,000 crore rupees. They will go down the same stupid drain. You had seen leakages in the field of that money. But before I would turn a cynic, within moments, I said, no, Rajesh, if you had this money, what would you do with it? And soon I had a blueprint that, okay, say that when the first child is born, or the second child is born, and is a daughter, government will, now we are talking about 1994, government will invest 25,000 rupees in national savings certificates, right? With a maturity of those days, it used to be 6 or 7 years, and then reinvest, So that at 18, when the girl is adult now, at 18, if that money will come to her, if she's matriculate by then, so much more. That's the second condition. Third condition is she should be fully immunized, and first or second child. So
this did not exist before 94?
Oh no.
Okay. We take it for granted today.
I came from Gurgaon I was living in Delhi those days. I had just gotten transferred to Gurgaon about 10, 12 days ago, and I was still maintaining headquarters in Haryana Bhavan here in New Delhi, Copernicus Marg. Whenever the Chief Minister would come, he would stay there. Last evening, I realized, when I reached home, one of my batchmates, there were many people who heard the idea when I was sharing it with Mr. Uganda on lunch at that time. So they told me, why don't you write it down and get it published front page, Times of India or Economic Times, because somebody will steal your idea. Anyways, so he says, I asked this guy, the chief minister is leaving in the morning. I said, I want to call on him. So they gave me 5-10 minutes. You come at 8 o'clock. I go there. He's in a rush anyway. And I tell him this. I said, you do this. He says, how much will it cost? I said, actually, it will cost you nothing. He said, how? I said, sir, I'm asking you to buy national savings certificates.
Future.
Those days, I think it still is on. Government of India had a financial scheme, which is the amount of national savings certificates bought within a state, jurisdiction of a state, territory of a state. Next year, the state government will get 75% of that amount as an interest-free loan for next some 10 years. So, practically only 25% of the money will go out of your pocket. And in any case, you have 2.5 years left. He was within, this should be something like August 1994. On 2nd of October, the scheme was launched with much fanfare. It was called Apni, Beti, Apna, Dhan. Because the cultural thing here was, Beti paraya dhan hoti hai.
Right.
So through the caption, I was hitting at that also.
Some of the students, and we have some of those students in our campus as well, they spend 4 years, 5 years preparing for UPSC. They give their life to it. They lose their adulthood to it, I would say almost, right? So do you think that's the right way? Do you think the test, in fact, is structured in the right way? Is it testing the right things for someone to become a bureaucrat? Or is it just testing how much time you've spent in, what is that, Rajesh Nagar? Rajendra Nagar.
Okay. Yeah, coaching academies.
Coaching academies.
Well, trying to take as, multiple perspectives around this reality which bothers you. For the students, I myself qualified in the third attempt.
Right. So you don't know. That's not true. That's not true. You qualified in the first attempt. You wanted more.
Yeah, it's okay. But if the UPSC allows you 4 chances or 5 chances or 6, I do not know how many these days.
But five right now?
In our times, it used to be 3 chances only.
Okay. So this is a good, right thing to do, I think.
No. See, what these guys are doing from their perspective, as I said, they're only trying to increase the force of the third variable.
Luck.
Who knows? And you are entitled to live your life like that, as long as you don't give up on your hard work and your talent. A. B. UPSC is Indian Republic's most outstanding example of commitment to objectivity in public recruitment. In fact, the civil services examination held annually is the epitome of this. Large-scale merit-based recruitment. Objective, standardized evaluation, and, fair competition. This gives merit a really good, fair chance. Now, whether they should allow 4 chances or 5 chances, that can always be debated. Let's not go down that lane. But can it be improved? That was part of your question.
Correct.
Well, there's nothing that cannot be improved. It surely can be. As I'm talking to you, I'm reminded that this famous psychologist turned economist, there are very few examples of the Nobel in economics having gone to a psychologist. You know who? Daniel Kahneman.
Okay.
The father of behavioral economics. Bringing psychology into it. He developed a set of 6 questions, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Only 6. All personal questions.
Okay.
And while these candidates were, the regular system was being followed, he ran it in parallel. That just asked these guys to answer these 6 questions. Personal. Like, do you remember a time when, you helped somebody else become successful? Do you remember a time when you were the most depressed because of this? Write about that. Some small 6 questions of this kind. The research showed that actually answers to these questions and selection based on the answers to these questions, objective
Objective
answers to such 6 questions were a far better predictor of how good the person will be than the highly subjective interviews being done by journals and whoever were on the interview board. Right? So that element of subjectivity which comes in an interview, right? That's against that, an objective assessment on this. So I would think if they have to improve, the UPSC could easily think of, you see how many people write the civil services preliminary examination these days? 5 lakh, 6 lakh, 7 lakh. That is the kind of number people say. And then after the preliminary examination, you are left with some 10,000 who write the mains. And then for the interview, you are left with some 3,000 or 4,000, God knows what. And that's it. So large scale chopping of people. Maybe you have no idea whom you are missing just because he flunked the prelims. So in our days now, with technology, you can have a portal, all the aspirants, instead of calling them on a Saturday, Sunday, and, write the prelims, multiple choice type paper. You can tell them throughout the year, keep writing, write a weekly journal. If you're a prospective civil services candidate, write a weekly journal here on this. Write your blog. What did you do in the week? Write lies if you want to. But we'll figure it out. Some AI will figure it out. Right? After having seen 52 of your journals, 52 weekly journals, the AI will figure out this guy is bluffing. And then why make those 7 lakh come and write that exam now? Choose a few there.
Choose from their life experience.
In any case, you have already gotten that these guys are potentially good human beings, well-meaning, well-intentioned, and because the risk that you run is that here you are, I think that's the pain you're seeing, that it's focused only on your intellectual capabilities, the mains exam.
Or how much effort you've put into that preparation of that.
You can do something like that. But can I talk to your, if somebody who's writing it for the 3rd time or the 4th time or the 5th time, I want to say it in their honor, right? Because people around them are telling you, telling them something like you were mentioning. Are they wasting their adulthood, you said? Let me tell them that if they are sincere about their 4th attempt and 5th attempt and not playing only for luck, I would think it is youth well wasted. Can I tell an inspiring line for them? Can I quote Faiz? There is a very short poem by Faiz Ahmed Faiz. 6 lines. 1 Urdu word, whose meaning you already know. It says, वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो काम से आशिकी करते थे या इश्क को काम समझते थे. One of the two. All fortunate ones, all great ones, all successful ones are in one of these 2 categories. वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो काम से आशिकी करते थे या इश्क को काम समझते थे. हम माने we, the rest of us were not great. हम जीते जी मसरूफ रहे, busy. हम जीते जी मसरूफ रहे, कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया, काम इश्क के आड़े आता रहा और इश्क से काम बिगड़ता रहा. Only 1 line remains now. And it will be the biography of each one in this room. वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो काम से आशिकी करते थे या इश्क को काम समझते थे. हम जीते जी मसरूफ रहे, कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया, काम इश्क के आड़े आता रहा और इश्क से काम बिगड़ता रहा. आखिर तंग आकर हमने दोनों को अधूरा छोड़ दिया. So I like to tell them, don't leave it adhura. Thank you.
Inspiring. So, let's take this further ahead. There must have been how many people in your batch, in your IAS batch? 60, 70?
Ours was a slightly longer batch. It was about a bigger batch, 124, if I remember correctly.
124.
Yeah.
And you've worked with so many people, junior to you, senior to you.
Yeah.
By and large, what is your judgment of the community? Do you think that they're right people for the job? Do you think some of them were not perhaps right? And what is your larger judgment on the civil servant community as a whole? Right? Because a lot of people say that our bureaucracy is so slow. They get frustrated, especially businessmen. They always put it on the bureaucracy. Bhai, kya hai? This guy is corrupt and this guy is asking for this, that, right? So by and large, what is your judgment of the entire bureaucracy of India? Is the criticism they get justified?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes and no. They are obviously very intelligent people, each one of them. They have cracked one of the toughest exams, right? But then they come from a certain background and not much emphasis is laid on that. And as I said, their psychology, that's not tested. Then they come to work, they learn. Like everybody else, they learn on the job. And there is no... After the academy, there's not much culture. Mr. Modi, as Prime Minister, is focusing on one of these things, which is the Karam Yogi mission, right? That a lifelong, training, a lifelong mentoring, improving. But then all that again gets done in a structural manner only. And on-the-job learning, and people are, how much you open up to your peers. And then within the organization, dissent, disagreement, how much it is, accepted. The trouble is, when your work is being assessed every year on paper, the annual confidential report,
right,
by somebody else, honestly, then, you are not being... you're conscious of that because your further promotions are tied to that.
Correct.
So there is a whole incentive, disincentive around appearing to be,
right,
pass the muster. But do you cut the mustard? Nobody cares. So some are good, some are very, very good, and some have fallen by the wayside. And some tend to fall by the wayside as early as 5 years or 6 years of service. They have the constitutional protection. The system is so moving. If it is slow moving for the citizens, it is slow moving for the politicians also. To get rid of an IAS officer, there's a whole rigmarole you have to go through. All the chief minister can do is, transfer you. That's it. Inquiry and this, that. So therefore, the answer is mixed. But then it is true for every organization, especially so for government, that when it succeeds, nobody notices. Nobody gives credit. And people tend to personalize the organization. They say, Apple has done this, and your university has done this. They try to personalize, but people forget that every organization actually is a group of people. Each one has done something right, wrong, which has all led to this whole cumulative thing. But what is wrong in the Indian system is, especially with the bureaucracy, that you are never asked to really, really pay for your wrong decisions.
There's no accountability.
No accountability. And those who do not want to take wrong decisions because of ulterior motives.
Or risky decisions.
Risk avoidance. Yeah. So that's also there.
So they just don't take the decision.
How to put it? We normally say the public servant's duty is to serve the citizen, right? And then after, so many years of independence, we brought in a Right to Service Act, right? Where the citizen can expect and demand service within a certain time. And if it is not given, the civil servant will be penalized. This is kid stuff. Okay, I'm not demeaning it. It works. People get more efficient service because of this. But the thing is, by saying it is duty to serve, then on a 9 to 5 job, that duty is on a piece of paper. The empathy that you need when you see somebody in pain in your office, who has given up everything, come to see you and explain his pain, where is the empathy for that? In fact, if you don't have that, within the rules, within the thing, then you say go to the court and the court will do it. I mean, courts do a great job, but even they are flooded with work. All that is easily solvable if the civil servants, especially in India, realize, see this Weberian bureaucracy, the model, the organogram, we all know it's everywhere. This box and this box and this square and this square, this guy reports to him, this guy reports to him, whatever. Did you ever wonder that this can't be science? What about the guy who's inside the box, the actual human being? Can he come out of this box while he thinks? Be constrained by the limitations that are prescribed, but can he think? You have time for another shlok?
Of course, please.
Go read the Ayurveda text called Ashtang Hridayam.
Okay.
Read its second chapter, 28th shlok, number 28. So it describes what should a human being do right from the time he wakes up in the morning and goes through the day and the night. Elementary things. This shlok says, Janasya ashyam lakshya yo yatha paritushyati tam tathaiv anuvartatet par aradhan pandita. We are talking about 5,000 to 10,000 years ago when these lines are written. He's saying कि दूसरे की इंटेंशन को, दूसरे के आशय को अपना लक्ष्य बना ले और जो जैसे संतुष्ट होता उसके साथ वैसा व्यवहार करे, उसे पर आराधन पंडिता, दूसरे की आराधना का पंडित है वो. Before that he has described that you'll meet people. He says this should be part of every human being's दिनचर्या, कि जो दूसरा मिला वो क्या चाहता है and how can I help him realize his goal. That is the master of the art of पर आराधन. आराधना होती है भगवान की. Right? बोल दोगे हम लोग the customer is the king. I mean, that's a phrase to say. But tell me, in how many shops, in how many places, customer really gets the kingly feeling? When you have to part with money, man.
Correct.
Kings don't part with money. Right. Here, our culture, and this is in our DNA, that to live well, this is your param dharam. Have compassion and help him reach his goal. Now, for this culture, bureaucrats to say, no, I will stick to the letter of the law, the letter of the rule, and not go by the spirit. Unfortunately, the citizen will have to wait for 17 years, knock at the doors of the courts, and one day, Supreme Court or High Court, somebody will interpret and say what? Say, we have read the act. This looks unconstitutional. This guy is arguing correctly. However, we have also read the statement of objects and reasons. Every enactment has with it a statement of objects and reasons. And they say the intention of the legislature was that this word shall, they wanted to write the word may, but unfortunately the word shall got written. And, there are thousands of judgments that the word and here is unconstitutional. The legislator intended it to be or.
Or.
And who actually wrote and? The legislature. No. Some IAS officer.
Some bureaucrat.
Through his hands, that drafting stage, this thing came. Who's responsible for what happened for 17 and a half years? This guy's pain and everybody's pain. That's what I would encourage them to have, this kind of a thing that I described. Pass a speaking order saying, I have read it, this says and, I've read that. Well, if the High Court can do it, why can't you do it?
But why are they scared? What is pulling them back? Do they think that if they pass that judgment on their own interpretation, that they will get penalized in the future?
Yeah, there was a whole period when I was in Government of India, you refer to that, 5 years, close to 5 years, so 2011 to 2014. There was a word for it, which was, known to everybody, those who were reading newspapers then, that the Government of India suffers from policy paralysis.
Correct.
Everybody was talking about policy paralysis. This is it. 2G scam, this, that, some bureaucrat had signed, they are in jail, they are being questioned by CBI or whoever, investigating agencies. And then this whole feeling developed, don't write anything on the file. Because at the opinion stage, if you write something, you can be hauled up. Why did you write? Were you under an influence? Whereas our basics of IAS are that you have been hired, man, to write your objective opinion for the case at hand and not be influenced by anybody, including the ruling party. Just write. And that's what we pay you for. When the final decision is taken by the competent authority, whoever he is, the minister or the cabinet or whoever, once the decision is implemented, whatever is the decision, faithfully implemented. Now there is no chance to complain. And if you really, really feel that your overruling has been, devastating for the nation or something, then quit. That's the only thing you can do. But then you implement it if it is approved. But when it was in the works, it's our duty, sacred duty, to write our independent views on it. People stopped doing that in that time. And you continue to see that kind of a feeling. Unfortunately, when we speak in person, I ask them, I'm no longer in the IAS, so I retired, so the youngsters come, I ask them, I said, what is the success rate of CBI in murder cases?
What is the success rate of CBI in murder cases?
What is the success rate of, any investigating agency? How many cases fall at the prosecution stage? Now, if people get away with murders, if you have not taken money, how will the CBI prove that you have taken money?
Correct.
Come on.
तो क्या करो ना फिर काम हाँ.
करो. अगर आपने नहीं किया हुआ गड़बड़, and you are doing it in public interest, and you are doing it in writing, have the heart, keep your head high. Anyways.
ये डर अभी से recently बैठा है कि शुरू से था?
I told you, from policy paralysis. So we would pin it down to something like 2001, thereafter. 2004, 2005, this thing had begun to creep in because, these scams were surfacing.
Right? We all live here. I think all of us spend a lot of our time here in Gurgaon. And what a city that has come up in front of our eyes in the last 15, 20 years, right next to Delhi. We see it for all its grandeur. We see it for Cyber Park, Cyber Hub. We see it for Golf Course Road. But then if you go one level below, then you also see all the disarray that the city is in, right? So there's some planned aspects to it, but there's also a lot of unplanned encroachment, etc. that's happened here. So how do you look at Gurgaon's growth? How do you look at Gurgaon as a case study? Are you happy where Gurgaon is at today?
Oh, certainly. I have directly worked in this city twice, once as additional deputy commissioner, later as commissioner of the newly set up municipal corporation for a couple of years before going to Government of India. You mentioned some buildings and some places, and then you said then there are the other lower side. have you been to Aravali Biodiversity Park ever?
I want to.
Please do.
I think
And
built under your...
you will change your opinion. Right? So we see only, this gap that you said. But then there are good things that have happened. So this links back in two ways. When I went there as commissioner one day, this is about 564 acres of land, if I remember correctly. And it was getting encroached. The whole damn marble market there. And then, solid waste being reprocessed, reused, recycled there. Some huts and tenements. I went there, had a walk. There was an architect here, Atal Kapoor, unfortunately is no more. There was a lady by the name Latika Thukral. Probably she used to work with ICICI Bank. They had set up an NGO called I Am Gurgaon. So we went around and, that place was the way you are describing, the worst places you have seen. And then that day I decided that, okay, we have to change it. Then to do the boundary wall of the damn thing, the estimate was about 230 crores to make the boundary wall. The commissioner's power to sanction an estimate was, I think, 1 crore.
Okay.
Or was it 50 lakh? 1 crore. And they said, for this you have to take the state government sanction. And you know what struck me? Same thing. I said, if I tell them that there is somebody, it will go to the highest levels, this estimate. They said, Gurgaon, you have 564 acres of land with the government. I said, forget it, we'll do it at our level. We'll break all the laws and I'll do it in writing. Let's do it. It took us about 2.5 years and we did it. I am told, I've not been there after that, but I'm told that really is a place where thousands of people go every day in the morning and in the afternoon and in the evening. And it's
नहीं तो कैसे हुआ वो?
I don't want your readers to get the impression that, I'm promoting myself.
नहीं, but
Forget
you want to hear the story.
You find creative ways of doing it.
वो थोड़ा एक creative.
Ajit, this system is so bad that we found a guy. So the Atal Kapoor, Atal said, sir, forget it. What we will do is, let's make these structures of steel, steel wires. And then, this is in village Nathupur. There used to be mining there. And one day the Supreme Court order came and they banned the mining. So there were these pits, very deep pits, abundant mines. He said, there's so much stone is lying here and there, it was transported. We'll just collect it. And as it is, maybe break it into smaller pieces. Let's dig a hole for the boundary wall. And, I'll give you these 10 feet by 10 feet boxes of steel wires. They cost nothing. And just put one there. And then let's put all these stones and rocks which are lying around there. And he calculated something and he said the strength will be such that even trucks will not be able to break it. And to your point, this is a city which has a glorious past. But you have to give it to the city. I don't know whether it is older than Varanasi or not. Don't know it factually, but it is associated with the Mahabharata era.
Gurgaon?
Oh, Guru Dronacharya's village.
Is Gurgaon?
Oh, that's why it is called Gurgaon.
It makes sense for Masters Union to be here then.
Oh, yes.
I will use
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can spin it. Yeah.
Why did you choose Gurgaon as?
Yeah, this is the greatest master we have known, Guru Dronacharya, who trained both the Kauravas and the Pandavas.
So from Kurukshetra to Gurgaon makes sense.
Yeah. So it's his village. And has been growing and growing and growing, over the years and centuries. And it is always in the works. True, it is not, it never was a greenfield city. Even the other side of the national highway, the new Gurgaon.
That's it,
Yeah, I'm not very well oriented in this dark room. Yeah.
This is Udyog Vihar and this is...
So even there, it's not fully planned, and there has been a lag between providing in fixing up the infrastructure gaps and the population coming. It's becoming attractive. So all governments have remained invested and interested in Gurugram's story and would continue to be. The gap between aspirations and this will always be. Unfortunately, there is a one-liner. I read it years ago. I do not know, in some book titled British Humor, British Wit or something.
Sure.
He says, why do you need a government? What do you think? What's your answer? Why do everywhere else, everywhere in the world, why do people need a government? It's a joke. So the answer is, he says, look, you cannot blame everything that is wrong in your life on your spouse. So therefore people invented the government. Okay, you have to give it to your spouse. How much can I blame you? So when you feel pain, it's the government's doing. Half the things which are said that it is government's doing, government is both a developer and a regulator. So either it is a developmental failure, which I am describing, the gaps in laying the infrastructure, then there is a regulatory failure. And why is that? Because somebody is misusing the regulation. Again, he's a citizen of Gurgaon.
Finding loopholes.
Yeah. And then you have to have a cat and mice situation.
So, but and we have had this conversation before. I don't know if you remember a few months ago about how cities get formed.
Yeah.
And I asked you that New York has a very tight grid system. London has some kind of a system, though it's difficult to figure out exactly what it is, but it still functions. Most cities that have come up in the last 100 years have a grid system or have a ring road system, something that's very structured. Why is it that the Indian cities, the way they have grown, many of them have grown post-independence, Gurgaon being an example, why don't they follow a planned architecture, other than Chandigarh, of course? And also you can see outside of Chandigarh now there's a lot of mess, right? So why is it that our cities are not as planned as some of the Western cities?
See, the models have changed and there have been different models. So Chandigarh and Jamshedpur, perhaps these were the first two Indian cities, right? Now, the entire investment in Chandigarh was a public sector investment, right from conception till execution. I think Jamshedpur, probably private sector. Here, the regulations in Haryana and Punjab for city, urban development, urbanization growth, the regulations began to come in 70s, the acts around it and the laws. Slowly, in the 80s, why Gurgaon began to happen was that government became a little bit more liberal and decided that we don't really have the financial resources to cater to the needs of growing urbanization. So Haryana opened up itself to private sector investment and DLF was the first to come to Gurgaon. Do you know Faridabad was a much more vibrant, developed city in 1984 than Gurugram? And the top industrial houses were in Faridabad. Gurgaon was a poor cousin of Faridabad. DLF had one sector in Faridabad, one residential and one industrial sector, but that was it. The regulations were so tight. But then once there was more welcome in 1980s for private sector investment in planning larger chunks of land and government enabling only through the external infrastructure, things began to change. And I think you have to give it to private sector of India, and not only DLF, the later entrants also then, who really are part of this Gurugram story. But for us, there was never a greenfield kind of a thing. See, you go another 100 acres, say that's another 1,000 acres. Already there is a village population there.
What do? You have to build around it.
You can't.
You can't uproot them.
Where will your grid take you now? And it will require a lot of imagination to cater to their needs also in an appropriate way.
I think we forget that US was essentially completely just bare land.
Yeah.
Right? When New York was being built, it was built greenfield at the time.
Most of the US still is greenfield, it's just land.
Just land. And then in India, because we are such a old country and we have had civilization for a much longer duration, so those villages have already formed. Mahipalpur exists. You can have the airport next to it, but you can't move Mahipalpur just because the airports come up.
True.
And so you have to build around it, and then that's how. So I want to ask you a question that will require you to take a view. Okay. So, when we were thinking of which state we should build Masters Union in, we were looking at the regulations of all the states, right? From Karnataka, Andhra, Punjab, Haryana. And we really felt that the regulations in Haryana were perhaps the best, most welcoming. Right? So that's my view, and that's why we decided to be here. And I left my home state to be here. Now, in your view, which state in the country is perhaps the best governed or has the best system or the best bureaucracy as compared to the others? And Haryana you cannot name. That I've already given Haryana the credit.
I do not have. I'll take a view if you want me to. And unfortunately, such opinions and views don't matter. I have never lived for more than 2 days in any other state of India. Okay.
But from the outside, you talk.
You hear.
Yeah.
From the outside, again, you should always know that one is the public relations spin. Right? What you read in a magazine or in a newspaper, who is behind that story, what they are claiming. The reality is this. Let me quote Mr. B.N. Yugandhar, our director, once again. So as I was passing out, he said, Rajesh, remember, there is such a gap between legality and reality in the field when you're going from here, Missouri, that it will pain you. And when it begins to pain you, remember that your job is to reduce this gap.
Legality and reality.
So therefore, most of the change is required on the reality side because law anyway is very slow to change and you will need some kind of more authority. So if you want to see that whole thing from SDMship to this, you can see it this way. But in the context in which you are asking it, the IAS is the same lot, trained, and then we are allocated to different state cadres. And after that, trust me, we hardly ever interact. And we learn from each other. That you have to give it to us. Us meaning not Haryana, other states also. We did this incredible family ID thing, the Parivar Pehchan Patra. 7 states have taken notice of it. We did that, Apni Beti, Apna Dhan. Once it was done,
I feel like it's a national thing.
Within 6 months, Rajasthan had done it. We learn from each other. So that's okay. But one fear that I have, that while these are good traits that we learn from each other through newspapers, the chief minister goes, meets some other chief minister, they talk about what they are doing, they come back and they say, I heard this, they are doing this, why don't we do that? But there is more and more emphasis on digital governance. In Haryana especially, in providing services to the citizens, it's getting digital. So there are portals and portals. It became a very political hot potato for the ruling party to handle just before the last Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha elections. And the opposition wanting to come to power was openly saying that if we come to power, we'll get you rid of these portals, right? And this became a political issue.
Right.
People voted anyway. So faceless kind of a thing. The unfortunate thing is that what I worry about, and that I worry about, is that there will never be a button on a computer keyboard where you could say, now download empathy. Because if you were to put all the laws and regulations and then do programming around it, who will get a birth certificate, how this, that, you would miss out on situations. And who will have that power? Because the portal is rejecting your case for widow pension.
So that faceless is actually becoming a liability almost. It's removing that empathy, that connect that the officer had.
Yes. So we have to figure a way of that.
Balancing. No, but in again, the media, and this could be, not reality, but we hear that Andhra Pradesh, that under Chandrababu Naidu did so well, etc.
So well, yeah.
Right? So is credit given where it's due, or do you think?
Yes. Yeah. We agree. We also told half the time, some file or the other will show you that in Andhra, they have come up with this law, this is how they are developing this thing. But in fact, there was quite a thing. I remember we had done, Mr. Manohar Lal ji was the chief minister then, and this family ID was his idea, and goldenization of the data, that was a big problem. And he had another brilliant idea, which was online transfer of teachers. So there was a meeting of Mr. Chandrababu Naidu and Mr. Manohar Lal ji as chief ministers. And I did not attend that meeting, but I do remember that after that, Mr. Manohar Lal ji told me that he was telling me that we have done globalization like this, so our team needs to go and see. But then when I told him this, so he said, let your team come first and then I'll send my team to see. And then they wanted a copy of the model teachers transfer policy also.
So does it happen that when a new government comes, just out of spite, they undo the good work that the previous government has done? What we keep hearing, that Jagan Reddy came and this happened and then he's come back and now he's cancelled everything.
Well, one unfortunate thing that happened that I saw developing over 30 years was that whenever a new government comes to power, because they come to power saying that the system is rotten and they have not done a good job and bring us and will undo or whatever, what they do is they say first day they pass an order on the second day that all decisions taken by the previous government in the last 6 months are hereby put in abeyance, the files be resubmitted and re-examined. And sometimes, suffer. You just got your NOC for, university or something within those 6 months. And now the whole thing begins again. So that was kind of unfortunate. And who knows? In Haryana, the government used to change every 5th year.
Right.
That's what we saw ever since we came.
Except
twice. Once in 2005, the government which came to power, following the same thing, it got repeated in 2010. Correct. So that thing was not there. Then in 2014, when the new government came, it did the same thing. It put in abeyance all the decisions 6 months. And some people suffered for 1 year, 1.5 years, review, whatever. But then they got re-elected. And then they got re-elected again. So
there's been some continuity.
Yeah.
And, some governments are also criticized for this giveaway politics, right? Free electricity, free this, free that. From a bureaucrat standpoint, how do you feel about that kind of a policy, that Revdi policy? Ki give away kar do, koi baat nahi. The next government will take care of the debt or the expenses for that.
Who does it the most? The United States of America. You know the amount of checks they wrote during COVID?
Like 2 trillion, 3 trillion.
Which government is not worried about its rising public debt?
US.
Is the US. But yes, I bring that in because you refer to the US thrice on urban development and whatever. But in our case, we have massive regulation around it. One is the FRBM, Act of the Parliament, and FRBM Act of every state, Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act, which limits your borrowing to, whatever percentage of the GDP. And then you have the RBI, which controls all this, particularly foreign debt.
At the central level,
at the central level. The state governments have no authority to to raise a loan outside India. Right? And within the country that they can raise, it's limited by FRBM and this. So, of course, it's common sense for bureaucrats to keep an eye on the financial implications of whatever they are proposing, and is it affordable for the system as a whole. And I don't think very many ideas of... Now, for example, let's go back to Apni Beti, Apna Dhan. So it appeared fiscally prudent to them, right? But then, can you hold your hands back when you're faced with a social problem with that? So that is the choice which a politician has to make. And only he is capable of making, a directly elected politician. Well, I have this kitty, I have this much money, I have hundreds and thousands of problems, I have to develop Gurgaon, I have to check amino synthesis, do this, that. How much money will I allocate for what? That is what politics is, daily. And no matter what you do, you'll get criticized. And there'll be some support. But most people who like the government or the government decision, they never talk about that. For instance, you mentioned, you just don't know where is the Ravli Biodiversity Park. Kar liya to kar liya, अच्छा, पर मेरे को तो ये कूड़ा दिख रहा है.
My backyard.
Yeah.
So you spent a lot of time at the World Bank as well. So, from international perspective, there's a new world order almost that is forming now, right? And I have a few questions around that. Where does India stand in this, and I don't know if I can use the word, bipolar world of China and US. Are we almost irrelevant? Like what's happening with all the negotiations that are happening today? We are nowhere part of it. Does that matter? And what is India's role in this new world order? I think we are sort of falling behind.
No, an emphatic no. I have sat on the board of the World Bank for close to 2.5 years, slightly more, representing Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and India on the board. I was lucky to have been elected as the chairperson of the bank's most important committee called the Committee on Development Effectiveness, CODE. See, all other banks all over the world have some committees through which they function. HR, finance, audit, governance, this, that. This committee is, unparalleled in any other entity, any other bank. Committee on Development Effectiveness, the bank wants to know that every dollar that we do spend in the name of poverty alleviation, what is its effectiveness? Right? And it encompasses all areas, all projects, all nations, the bank-funded projects. What is the real implication of them in terms of empowering people and improving their lives, especially the poor? I can tell you, and it's not just because I was a chair. You get to hear views of all the nations, the donors, India's recognition, I joined in October 20, I left in March 23. Every single day, India's recognition was increasing, not because of what I was doing there, in their eyes, in the eyes of the others, that India was something to reckon with, is coming up, our economic growth rate consistently high, our solid relationship with the African nations, the entire history of it, and the new look that was added by every new government. So all that, I don't think India can be ignored at any world forum, no matter what happens. And if you're talking about only this issue,
this is
you see, life is too much nuanced. Not everything that every country does in diplomacy is made known to people. There is a time when you let it know. Let your people know.
So silence can be strength.
Yeah.
So one final point we wanted to speak about. A lot of people here are entrepreneurs, students who want to become entrepreneurs. And we always look at the government, and sorry to use this word, as a burden or as an externality. कि ये regulator है, इसको करना पड़ेगा आपको, satisfy. We never look at government as a partner. And I've seen that in a few countries, like in Dubai, for example, or in Singapore, where the government is viewed as a partner. In fact, one small story, I got to go and meet Sheikh Hamdan, the Prince of Dubai. And we were sitting in sort of a group like this, and he said to all the entrepreneurs, you tell me what policy you need changed in any department in my government for you to double your revenue in 1 year. Write it on a piece of paper and pass it to me right now. And I will get that policy amended if it makes sense. Now, so I wrote something and I gave it to the guy. And now for the last 3 months, they have been chasing me to give them more details. Exactly what did I mean, this and that. Now, I may have not provided them enough information because I don't have clarity, but they've been following up, right? Not the other way around. So, I'm just thinking, how do we as entrepreneurs make use of the government in the right way? And I'm asking this question because you're one of the champions of public-private partnerships. You brought that model in. How do we use the government in the right way?
See, so government is there to solve problems whether as a regulator or as a development
Builder.
entity. So I don't think you can make a case that if a private sector person comes up with a solution that can help solve their problem, they are, too stonewalled to stop him or listening to him. They have to listen to him. But all the time, at the individual bureaucrat level with whom you talk, or the political level with whom you talk individually, government is like a banyan tree, you never know. They will be always conscious that you're going to make money. Like your friend there or whoever you met, Sheikh. And now we're talking back to risk avoidance in this. Will it be construed as I having helped him make money? That is a big fear. So you will never find in India a situation where you can go and expect this, that somebody says that I'll change the policies just to help you double your revenue. So
it's not going to happen, yeah.
That is never going to happen in this country. Okay. But if you can go and say that, look, I can solve this problem for you, and this is how I can do it. Doesn't make sense to you? These are, on the benefit side, this is what you gain. The government gains. Like I sold Apni Beti, Apna Dhan at 6 years. I was a startup. I was a startup within the government. Had I taken the same proposal on a file, followed the hierarchy, gone to the ADC, ADC writes a letter to DC, what else? Or Secretary Women and Child Development. This is more than the entire budget of my department, man. What are you talking? You kids know nothing. But if you can go to the right person and show them
what is in it for them.
Trust me, we meet very many people like that. They're all the time meeting people who are seeking things from them. Right? This, demand, that demand, they're sick of it. Anybody who comes with a solution, which appears to be in their larger interest of getting re-elected, they will welcome. If you make money in the process, for that, you use the word PPP. So, in any case, nomination basis, hardly any government does anything any longer in India. I'll be surprised to know if there is a state government which on nomination basis, without doing a market RFP, discovery of the price, gives you something. It'll be rare.
Right. And if it does happen, then the following government comes, you go to jail, like what happened with Chandrababu Naidu.
Yeah. But my advice to the entrepreneurs would be find a real problem. Whatever solution you come up with,
connect it
with their priorities. That's one. B, they'll be willing. You see, they are all used to, anyways. Politicians, as I said, they'll say yes to everything. Right? Nobody will ever say no. They'll say yes. And don't get encouraged too much. When it comes to finally signing the contract, please, for God's sake, Read every single word, including the footnotes. Do not be hoodwinked by the cup of tea being offered, the warm hug, right? Words of appreciation. Read that contract you are signing. You have worked 2.5 years, brought it to the stage, cabinet has approved, and you have celebrated, and now it's just going to sign it. Sorry. Read it 10 times. Because the guys who have drafted it, they have not read it.
Now with ChatGPT, they are not reading it at all.
If at all they have read it, right, they have only looked for parts where government's ass is covered, right? I'm sorry for being profane.
Yeah, downside protection,
covered. But which comma missing in which sentence?
Which changes the meaning where?
Which changes the meaning 6 years later, and now you get a notice saying now you owe the government another 1,400 crores. So please read the contract very, very closely. But if you ask my personal opinion on this, I think there will be greater trust between the private sector. I mean, it'll keep on increasing.
Like you ask the same thing, but ask it in a way that it seems like it's benefiting them versus just you.
Yeah.
Right? And so that the needle is moving for them in a way. Yeah. Makes sense. So final last question. And this is a question I try to ask everybody, is that if you had to give your 21-year-old self an advice, and advice is a very, it's not a word that I like too much because people don't end up following any advice. But still, if you had to yourself, right? Not these people, to yourself, what would you say to that person?
Well, I can quickly think of 2 don'ts. And
don't smoke.
At this moment, think of 1 do, but by the time I finish, I'm sure another would come up. Yeah, first is don't smoke.
Did I put that idea in your head, or did you actually mean it?
No, I meant it.
Oh, okay, sir.
You have no idea how, over the long run, damaging it will be for your systems. And all you're looking for when the urge arises, honestly, is a dopamine high. There are so many quick, cheap methods to get a dopamine high, not a cigarette smoke. And if you must get it from nicotine,
use a patch.
Well, take a chewing gum, take a patch or whatever. But that's 1. 2, and this is very honest answer. Maybe you never heard it from anybody else's mouth. I would tell myself, do not put your wallet in your back pocket of your trouser. Yes.
The glued will,
I suffered that.
We don't use wallets anymore, so
yeah. And at least don't sit on it, because it does so much damage to your posture and your spine and, whatever they call it. On the do side, too many distractions come up. Too many counter opinions come. At that age would come to me. Somebody saying this, somebody saying that. And then I lost a lot of time, weighing things. I would say, don't do that, Rajesh. In my personal life story, I could again borrow just last 2 lines of a Faiz poem, which says, अलबत्ता इतना लाजिम है, मुमकिन तो नहीं है हर कोई मंसूर बने, फरियाद बने. अलबत्ता इतना लाजिम है, सच मान के जो भी राह चुनो, बस एक उसी के होके रहो. तो काफ़ी देर ये खेल चला कि ऐसे am I doing the right thing, पहला अटेम्प्ट है, अब दूसरा करें या वो वापस एमटेक में ही कर लें, राइट, वो फॉरेन चला गया, राइट, उसने ये कर लिया, स्टोरीज यू हियर.
सेकंड थॉट,
सच मान के जो भी राह चुनो, बस एक उसी का होके रहो. 4th, the second do. You heard about the Schrodinger cat problem?
From media,
Yeah, so this is because of my physics background. So whether the cat is dead or alive in a
Right.
sealed box
Correct.
where no information is coming out. So the argument, quantum mechanics argument is, well, it is
Both dead and
both
alive.
dead and alive, and all depends on, only the final answer can be given when the observer opens the box and sees. And it may as well turn out to be dead, and for another observer, it might turn out to be alive. I would say the real mystery is not if Schrodinger's cat is dead or alive. The real spiritual mystery is the observer dead or alive? We think we are awake while we are observing. But we are focused so much on observing that we almost always lose sight of who is observing. The real me, the central I. So if the awareness could be so expanded that while I'm looking in your eyes, I'm also conscious of my being. Life would be so beautiful. Life would be so joyful and blissful. And gratitude will come so much from within. You won't need nicotine or any other dopamine substance.
If I were to paraphrase, you're saying is that sometimes in life you're so focused on observing
Yeah.
and giving attention to something external to us
Yes.
that we are not paying attention to ourselves
Yes.
and living in that present. It was a word you used downstairs, a Hindi word, the four things, right? So
Turiya. It's called Turiya, the
Turiya.
fourth way.
the fourth way.
The fourth way of realization, self-remembrance. Even as I talk to you, I am aware. I mean, I try to be aware. It's very hard. Our life is so mechanical.
So much going on.
99% of our waking time, we are living mechanically. Activities. There's no creativity. We are not present in what we are doing. And that's why you get fatigued and drained out. But if you can remember that you are unaffected, it happens, in 100 days, once for a brief 1 minute, a door opens. So it's called Turiya in Upanishads, and it's called the fourth way by Gurdjieff and his school. So there is the way of the fakir, there's the way of the monk, there's the way of the sannyasi. So the fakir tortures his body, and the monk, is in prayer through his feelings, and the sannyasi through meditation. But there's the fourth way. In my understanding, in the Indian spiritual tradition, beginning from Lord Krishna and Buddha, from wherever to wherever you take, the closest exponent of this is Gorakhnath Ji. Gorakhpur, Yogi Aditya,
Their school.
That school. He says, Hasibu, Khelibu, Karibu, Dhyan.
Once more, sir.
Hasibu, Khelibu, Karibu, Dhyan. हंसते हुए, खेलते हुए मेडिटेशन करो. ऐसा नहीं कि एक कमरे में बैठ जाओ फिर आसन लगा लो. ध्यान करना, पूरा वेकिंग टाइम करना, हंसते हुए भी, खेलते हुए भी. Take it lightly while you're eating or whatever. Had somebody told me that at 21, I have no regrets. I've lived a happy life, but it would have been far more blissful.
Are you doing it now?
I try to as much as I can.
No, sir. On that note, we got to see how you think. We got to see a little bit inside your brain. And it's such a privilege. Thank you so much for engaging with me in all of these questions. And one thing I would say is that you answered all of the questions in layer 2 or layer 3. And this is something that we use at Masters Union. So layer 1 answer to a question is an answer you can Google. Right? Layer 2 is something that requires some amount of intellectual stimulation, capacity, thinking. And layer 3 is what makes the person who's asked the question think and reflect. So it's not just a question that's answered, but it also makes you reflect on what are the deeper implications of that answer. Right? So I feel every answer for me was a reflection that I have to now take back with me. And honestly, this conversation could have gone on for 2 hours, 3 hours longer. But I'm really, really thankful for you opening up and letting us get a glimpse of your mind. Thank you so much, sir, for this time. Really appreciate. You're incredibly busy, I know. I really hope that people would watch this and really take the last advice to heart, right? And figure out what it means for them in their own way. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. It's been real. It's been a pleasure, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Since you appreciated this last advice so much, these days we talk of artificial intelligence. Can I speak
Please.
After people have clapped?
Please.
We talk about artificial intelligence, and there's pretty much nothing that is left which a machine cannot do.
Correct.
This podcast can be done by a machine now.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Then, what is it that human beings can do that a machine cannot? Think about it. And the only answer you'll get after a large amount of thinking, spend days. I spent at the age of 21 days and months on thinking about why the cat is dead or alive. Think, is there a thing that a machine cannot do?
I mean, a machine can't feel emotion, be happy or be sad or...
No, you're kidding. The machines are passing Turing test. It can tell you, it can shout back at you.
It can manipulate you.
Teaching them all, it can manipulate you. Yeah.
Fair.
What is it that the machine cannot do? Only one thing. And that's only human capacity, which is to remember yourself.
You can't be switched off.
Machine cannot remember itself.
Consciousness.
Yeah. We are so much into, over the last centuries as we have grown up, we have become human doings. We do all the time. We're doing. We're not human beings. We never remember ourselves that we are beings. So thank you for underscoring that. In 2 words, just remember yourself everywhere, every time. Try to.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.